Today, the crypto market found itself swiftly moving to the downside, and people were a little bit shocked by this red candle. This is the biggest red day we've had since the pump began in October. People were getting really used to the continuous upside, and now we have seen a slight change in behavior for Bitcoin. If you are a loyal viewer of this channel, this dip should not be much of a surprise because yesterday we talked about a retest scenario for Bitcoin. Just want to make it clear that it's not some sort of bearish thing that you should be afraid of. If you look at this screen, if you look at this video from yesterday, you can see that retests are what make strong, healthy uptrends occur. I'm sure people are going to be wondering, how will we know if Bitcoin is actually going to play out a full retest to previous resistance as new support? Because, of course, it's not a guarantee. There's always the possibility that this was the dip and that we find support here and just continue up. Of course, anything like that is possible. But there is a key indicator right now in a very critical zone, and that is the daily RSI. Bitcoin's daily RSI has now reached the uptrend line. Every time we pump, guys, we're breaking the RSI trend lines. If you go back in time, when we dump, right, we're breaking below RSI uptrend lines. Right here, we flush down when we break the RSI trend line. This happens repeatedly on the daily RSI, and this is something that you can use when you're looking for, actual precise moments. And now it's becoming quite easy to see on the chart. We have the RSI uptrend line, and we have the short-term uptrend line right here. And so they're lining up. Bitcoin has just hit this short-term uptrend line while also at the same time hitting the RSI uptrend line. It's pretty clear, guys. If Bitcoin fails to maintain this RSI uptrend line, that's where things could get a little bit more bearish in the short term. So if Bitcoin, let's say, bounces up, attempts to hold this zone, and the RSI is resting upon this upward sloping trend line, and then we see a snap down, that's where we would see a real retest occur, right? So that RSI structure is very important right now to be looking at. And so if Bitcoin does play out a full retest, and this isn't the end of it, because of course it is possible that this is the short-term low, and we come up and create a higher high, and then come down later, stuff like that is always possible as well. It's always possible that things are just way more bullish than everyone expects. But if we were going to pull back, of course, you'd be looking at the previous resistance as new support, right? That's what a retest really is all about. So about 32,000 is the general area of interest. It could go as low as this trend line, which I do not expect that. I do not expect us to go that low, but it's possible, about 28,800. But the area that's more likely is just around 32,000, maybe 30,700. Something along these lines would be pretty normal, pretty standard before going bullish into 2024, turning previous resistance into new support. That's what we've been doing all year. And so this would be ultimately very bullish, right? This video is not at all attempting to make a bearish thesis or a bearish case for Bitcoin. This right here on the screen, guys, that is bullish. This is very bullish price action going into the halving and, looking at Bitcoin in the long term. It is not wise to be bearish on Bitcoin this close to the next halving, right? So if you look at, April, it's never a good idea to be like a true bear right now, right? So any dip is just a buy the dip scenario as we are so close to the halving, and it's very likely that Bitcoin is going to be generating a longer term uptrend. And so what I've seen across the board on social media right now is that people are very uncomfortable because for most of 2023, Bitcoin was doing nothing. And now we've gone up and people were FOMOing the tops here, buying altcoins, which are now coming down today. And their portfolios are going in the red and they're very, a little bit uneasy, a little bit shaken up. But you have to remember that if you're entering the market, like all the people that were entering Bitcoin right here, the people that were buying Bitcoin in this zone, their portfolios were up and down, green and red for most of 2023. Right? If they were just accumulating over and over and over from March to October, in the green, in the red, in the green, in the red, and then now their portfolios are in the green. So if you're buying crypto now, here at this point, it's just common sense to imagine that, okay, Bitcoin maybe bounces up from here, but it could also come down later and then, bounce up, whatever, while maintaining this uptrend line. During that price action, your portfolio is going to be in the green, in the red, as it starts to build out, right? It's never just going to be straight up. And of course, when you're entering positions, buying positions, creating a portfolio, you're going to be having moments like this as the market settles up before things really take off. That's pretty much just how it's been all year. And this is no different, guys. Just expect a little bit of wishy-washy price action, but ultimately a nice strong uptrend moving into the halving. Right now, the Bitcoin market is trending. And as long as we continue to trend, well, it's looking good to me. If we fail to hold previous resistance as new support, if we fail to hold that trend line and we come down, that's when you could say it's destructive. But for now, we are trending regardless of a small pullback. Ultimately, we're going the right direction, guys, and that's what I like to see. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.